My name is Savannah Marshall, and I'm here to let you know what Job Corps means to me. My favorite Bible verse is, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, and that's for Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. It took me a long time to figure out what that meant until now. Growing up, I didn't really have that picture-perfect life. I was the second of 4 kids. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters. My mother wasn't exactly what you would call a motherly figure. I didn't understand about her mental illness until I got older. She wasn't caring, or she never told her that she loved me. I was living with my mother up until I turned 7 years old, and I moved in with my uncle and my aunt. When I was staying with them, that's when I became very rebellious. I did not want to follow their rules, and I didn't want to stay with them any longer. So when I turned 14 years of age, I left and went back home to my mother. At first, I thought that was going to be a good decision that I made, but I was wrong, dead wrong. My mother really didn't pay me any attention. She basically neglected me and had me fitting out for myself. And so I didn't have a father in my life at the time, so I really had nobody to turn to, and that's when I started making bad decisions. I started hanging with the wrong crowd, doing things I had no business doing. I felt all alone. I couldn't talk to my mother because she really didn't care about what I had to say. My mother never talked to me about sex, but my uncle did, but he didn't tell me all the need to know into that conversation. So since I didn't have anybody to turn to, I started to make bad decisions with men. My mother never told me that my body was, a temple and that I was worth waiting for. So I had to learn that the hard way. So that's what ended me up in a 5-year abusive relationship. I wanted to just die when I was in a relationship. Being in an abusive relationship was not only hurtful, but fearful. I fear for my life every day because I never knew what the next day would bring. He tore me down at every chance he could get. I felt like God was punishing me. But God wasn't punishing me. He was there protecting me. But I was just too scared and hurt to see that he was there. I was on the verge of suicide. I wanted to take my life to escape my abuse. I tried but failed. So I got on my knees and asked God, why? Why me? I had nothing to live for until I got pregnant at 16. When I had my son Jordan, that was a great feeling. Even though I was a young mother, I knew that I had to live for him. He gave me hope. I was still with my abuser until I said enough was enough. And I didn't decide whether or not I was going to leave him or not. I was 21 at the time. During my years of abuse, I managed to graduate from high school. Then I enrolled into Remington College, where I got a CMA certificate. That was a great accomplishment for me. I was still with my abuser up until one day I gave my uncle a phone call and told him that he please come down and get me because I got tired of being in that abusive relationship. What he did after I graduated from Remington College. I ended up going to Huntsville and I stayed in a women's and children's shelter up until I got my own place. Well, when I got my own place, foolishly I took my abuser back. And like they all do, they'll never change. He's still the same way, but he was worse. Eventually, I ended up losing my apartment, and I ended up having to move right back to Mobile. And when I moved back to Mobile, I ended up putting him in jail. And I thought I was free from him, but I wasn't. I ended up being in another relationship. I ended up getting pregnant, and I was about a month along when my abuser got out of jail, and he attacked me. I thought I was going to miscarry, but by the grace of God, I didn't. I had my daughter Zakiya 2 months early, and that was hard, but I made it through. And that's when I found out that I was pregnant again with my last baby, which is Rosiah. When Rosiah was born, it was really hard for me. I really struggled bad. I wasn't talking to my son's father, and my daughter's father really wasn't in our life, so I didn't have him around either. So I ended up going back to my previous job, working at Popeyes. So I was there for a good 6 months, and then an incident happened where it forced me to quit my job, and I had to go to a domestic violence shelter. But while I was at that shelter, my counselor told me about Job Corps, and I agreed to go. But then it was the question of where my kids were going to go. And that's when I had to make another hard decision in my life. I ended up putting my kids in a temporary home in order for me to get what I needed for them, in order for me to get on my feet. I was ashamed at first. I didn't want to do it, but I knew it was going to be best for them. I came to Job Corps October 12, 2009. When I first got here, I was so enthusiastic. and so eager and ready to learn. I couldn't wait to start. But then my mother's mental illness got even worse, so I had to stop coming into Job Corps for a while, and I went home to help her so she could get the help that she needed. And so then when I came back to Job Corps, I started playing. I didn't take Job Corps seriously anymore. I wanted to sleep in class, I wanted to clown around and just get around, and I really didn't take it serious. And before you knew it, I lost all hope in this place. I just blatantly gave up. Until I got into an altercation with one of my instructors, a lady that I highly looked up to. And it really hurt me because I looked up to her and I felt really bad that I talked to her in that way, and she didn't deserve that. So after me and the teacher started talking back, I started to pick up my spirit again. And then I was more motivated than ever. I felt if I never would have talked to her, I would never have gotten my spirit back or my motivation. I was hurting, and that was my cause for lashing out at people and that was trying to help me succeed and become somebody. Now I'm the president over a quad. I got 2 trophies so far for female of the month and also for most improved female. I never thought in a million years I could accomplish so much. I thank the Lord every day for my 3 blessings, joy, desire, and society. Without them and my instructors, I wouldn't try so hard to make it. Now I hang around more positive influences and making better decisions. Am I perfect? No, I'm still learning. What Job Corps means to me is that I wish they had a place like this when I needed somebody the most, when I didn't care about my life and myself. The Lord sent me here for a purpose, and I hope to God that I continue on this journey and fulfill that purpose. Thank you very much.